In today's episode of Willful, we spoke with Connie Tsang, a Toronto-based documentary photographer whose Instagram feed feels like a memoir in the making. Hi, Connie. Thank you so much for joining us at the Merchant Tavern today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
In grade 4, what did you think you'd be by now?
Ooh, let me think. In grade 4, I really wanted to be a writer. Even before then, in grade 1, a friend of mine and we would write books together, write little picture books together, and I think I was dead set on being an author at that time. Yeah.
Do you have any of those books still?
No. Well, I found one from about grade 6.
Yeah.
And it's awful. But as with the illustrations, they're dead awful. But yeah, I tend to make a lot of books. I made a lot of magazines as well. As I got into the older ages, I'd say about grade 7 to 9, I would make these zines, or I was really obsessed with music at the time as well, and I would just create little magazines with all my musicians and like put the charts in there. Yeah, so I was very big on documenting.
Yeah. Right from that age?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it was fiction, and then as I got older, it was more about documenting. I'd sit in front of the radio and write down the top 40 charts and make sure I type them out every week. Yeah, I was quite diligent that way. This was before the internet, so we didn't have access to that stuff, so I wanted to make sure that all that was recorded.
You were a born editor right from the start.
I guess so, yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Did you ever experience any pressure not to get into the arts?
I come from a Chinese family, and as many people probably know, they're very focused on medicine and law and label careers that they can just easily tell our other relatives, oh, my daughter's a dentist or my daughter's a doctor.
Yes.
So when I started doing all these artistic things, I remember my dad coming up to me while I worked in the restaurant, and I would always do these drawings when there were no customers in there, and my dad would come out of the kitchen and goes, why are you wasting your time? This is so stupid, you're just wasting your time on this. And I remember him making me cry a little bit, but I continued on. I didn't draw anymore, but I did other things, like I worked on the yearbook, and I did all these artistic things in school.
Yep. Kept the dream alive.
I tried to keep the dream alive, and from grade 10, I knew I wanted to study like media arts in school, and so I made sure I kept doing it. And he seemed to come around after. When I got accepted, he cried. So
you got accepted where?
To Ryerson, Radio and Television Arts.
Yeah.
Really?
I
got the letter in the mail, and I think he knew that I'd worked so hard to try to get into that program, and then he cried. So I think deep down inside he was proud of me, but they still had this thing about me being either a pharmacist or veterinarian or doctor. Those were like the major things that they wanted me to be in. So I was a bit of a disappointment, especially since I was the only daughter who went to university.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. On Instagram, you made a distinction between artists who make from scratch and those who document. Why?
I made that distinction probably because I don't consider myself an artist, even though a lot of people think I am. I think I come more from the documentary world, in a way, and I guess that comes from my youth and trying to document things all the time and making sure these moments are remembered. I guess I have a certain way of documenting, and I suppose that's what makes me an artist, but I definitely have that sort of distinction because I feel like I'm separate from that world, and I would aspire to be one of those people who can create something, envision something, and put it together, but I feel like I'm on maybe I don't know if it's a lower level, but definitely a different level from them by approaching situations and documenting it versus totally curating an experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. There's something special, I think, though, being a journalist. I feel
Right.
that there's something special about being the observer. Not everybody can do it, and I think it's interesting too. I'm fascinated by the way our cultural upbringing affects our point of view. And I wanted to ask you, I know that growing up, your mom Miriam had a saying, and I'm going to probably butcher this. My Cantonese is not very strong. But
You did some research
I
here.
did some
This is good.
research. The saying is "mo ma fan."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tell us what that means.